Hello Defiers, this is Monday, Tragus Community Manager, and I'm super excited today to introduce you guys to the first episode of Temple Trackers. In each episode of Temple Trackers, I will issue a
bi-monthly
build challenge and tour your player build submissions with one of the devs, and at the end we will pick our favorite. For this first video, we asked you to create a Demi-god Academy, and the brief said, build an academy for demigods and heroes to practice their weaponry and their aerial mobility. Use any kit. That was a pretty big ask, and you guys did not disappoint. We were really impressed. You will see. In Temple Trackers, we will only be reviewing the top 5, but we still wanted to shout out a couple of you that did an amazing job in your submissions. So here are 2 honorable mentions. Thank you guys for your submissions, and let's hop into our tour with audio director Nathan, who's responsible for the really impressive city build I showed you earlier this week, so I think he knows a thing or two about building. Let's see what he had to say and which we came out with as our favorite Demi-god Academy. So this first video is from Lord 12. Let's take a look. So I would say this first area, I headcanon it as like a sorority house. And then when you step outside, you can see this amazing like aerial training area that we're gonna run up to see. And my favorite part about this build is that it's the only one of the submissions that has a maze, which I think when you're a Greek myth hero, it's pretty important actually to know how to navigate them, so I think that's a valid thing to have at a Demi-god Academy.
I like the use of color in here.
And I like that they make them duck to get out of it. And using the flags, I think, as a target is interesting. I don't know if I see any other submissions. And watching this gave me an idea of like, I think other games we can play of if we made a really difficult combat course just similar to this one and then challenge everyone to see who could complete it the fastest, where they have to hit every target. I think would be really cool. So you can see how big it is out here.
I like the walls. They keep the arrows in from not going into the rest of the world.
That's true, yeah. Protection is an important part of any academy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Great, so thank you to Lord 12 for that submission. We're going to talk about them all again at the end. So this next submission is from one of our community moderators, Lord Taltosh, and let's take a look. No, people don't have to submit in video, so this is an image using images. That was the overview of it, and then we have the entry hall that takes you to the dormitories here. He said in Discord that the better you do in the class, the better your room is. You can see some of the different rooms here. And I like this lounge area. It reminds me of a place that I traveled to once, so I think that's a nice little touch. The mess hall, of course, it's giving Hogwarts, I think. And then we have an arena and a classroom. You kind of see the archery range in the background. This is the infirmary. And then I think it's called the armory. I'm not sure I'm using the exact word that he used, but this is the archery range as well. Very cool. And this is the aerial practice space with additional room for swimming. This is all context that he gave us in Discord. And then again, an overview of all the places here, which I definitely think it touches the brief. There's all these different places you could really see students being able to have a well-rounded demigod study session at this place.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
And everyone's much better at doing these rounded builds than I am. The rounded arenas. Mine was very much a polygon.
Yeah, I like the use of the stairs for the awnings, the over part. That's nice.
So thank you, Lord Taltosh, again for that one. And moving on to, this is from Beard Magics. I think it's Beard Magics and not Bearded Magics. And it's quite a big city, actually. I think this is sort of this is the entry room, where you have a efficient workspace, and then touring sort of, I would consider it a study hall, I think. You've got some places to sit down with people. You have an outdoor, my vocabulary is failing me, but then we can come out here for a study space. You can maybe practice your dodge rolls. Again, a really good rounded build. A place to practice your swimming. And then I think I like this raised area for meeting. Little conference table. And I don't know, this seems like the bad student place. I don't know. I really liked leaving it in. But and then of course we needed some dormitories as well, 2 levels, plenty of students. Some more study lobby space, and then going up here, I think they have a huntsman's craft room sort of area, which I like that this one gives you, it's not just the physical training, but the mental training as well. There's crafting space. This reminds me of like a welding classroom. And then a mess hall. All the students can come together, overlooking the city. And then some more study space here. I like this raised seating area. Actually reminds me of real like student common rooms. And then another great place for your aerial training. And then we get a nice closing shot of all the different pieces.
I think that bad student spot might have also, it could have been for a lifeguard too.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Okay, that's maybe a nicer way to think of it. I don't know. My first thought, I was like, somebody did really bad training. They have to just sit in this like timeout room. Either way, I'm here for it. I think that's funny. This is from Zeus. I said Neo Chaos. Neo Zeus. I think this one has a special feeling to it because it's like one of the only one that are outside of the general Mediterranean zone. It's in the dark forest. So very different school atmosphere. They have some work rooms, some study rooms. Up here, you can come for a session with your classmates. You can see how big it is. I'm pretty sure this person made most of this on survival. I think this was submitted, if not all of it, it was submitted before our creative update, I think. You can see a bit of a pool here. I think this is the hunting room. Practice your taxidermy. Practice your swimming. You got some dormitory stuff. It's making me think of sort of, not more sorority housing, but something similar. This is a very ominous Coliseum underneath the Coliseum area. I've never seen something so dark in the game yet. And then a very cool archery range outside of it.
Cool. I like the fire arrows.
Mm-hmm. So you can see a very, very large practice space for your sword fighting. Ignore the username. Great seating up here. He also has the sort of priority seating like you had in your Coliseum build, which is nice. And one of the things I like about this build the most is the outer wall that's like surrounding the whole thing, I think. Or surrounding a lot of it is really cool.
Yeah, it looks like it could really be built.
Really like it being in the dark forest too. It's a different feeling.
And if you build it not in creative mode, it's even more challenging, I think, to build in there. It's a little harder than where I built like the amphitheater I built was, part of it was because there was a lot of rock around that area.
Thank you, Neo Zeus, for your submission. Very cool. Then our last one, this is from Vika Mountaineer, who submitted a build for last week as well. So we have a repeat builder, and you can tell they're very, very talented. Let's take a look. This is, I believe called Mount Olympiad Academy. Named. It's very vertical. I like this introductory classroom here. I always wanted to see if people would do these like platforms in the cliffside to help you in survival get really high because you don't have enough stamina. Your first seating space, mess hall area, and then you have a few of these combat arena practice classroom spaces. Every single space looks to be, you have to reach it by gliding, which feels very appropriate for a Demi-god Academy. Really cool swim practice area, and then a lot of facilities around here, so efficient space as well. Very Greek, very epic feeling. I like this outdoor platform. You can meet other students. I believe this was described as a deer racing stadium or arena, so you could go in here and race. And another arena. I like the different takes on them. It gives you the idea of an academy with a lot of students and multiple classes going on at the same time. And then we're gonna see a couple of the spaces again as it gets darker. And then this is the build from afar. You can see all the different buildings that comprise this academy. Very cool.
Yeah, really nice use of the statues.
Yeah, that's I think the standout build feature to me was, I think it adds a certain Olympic quality to have all these statues at every single place.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So this is the part where we are going to talk about what we liked and identify which one you would say is the Temple Tracker, episode 1 of Temple Tracker winner.
It's tough to pick a best one out of all.
I know, they're all slightly different too. So I can go quickly over, I think, maybe some highlights of the different one. Lord 12's build had this super cool maze and the aerial target practice range. Lord Taltosh had the infirmary and the armory, which is different from the other ones, the outdoor classroom arena, and some more of the glide practice space over the water. Then Bearded Magics, it was more an intellectual academy, not just physical academy. A lot of spaces for what you might imagine for studying and for the crafting. And then Neo Zeus's build, which was in the Dark Forest, had I think a very different vibe. It had this spooky coliseum. I think it was a intimidating coliseum and a very large outer wall space. And then Fika Mountaineers, which was everything was reachable by gliding, and it had this very epic demigod feel to it.
It's tricky because they all had different strengths. So, the last one had really awesome use of columns and statues, and the height vertically. Where there was a few other ones in there where the use of, like, the round roofs and stuff like that, like rounded structures, were really impressive. Yeah, that's really tough.
I sped up this section because we deliberated for probably 30 minutes, and ultimately it came down to what had unique features, what was aesthetically impressive, met the brief, and fit Dawn of Defiance the best.
Yeah, my gut's telling me that this last one, I would probably pick just for the feeling of how it fits the way I see the Dawn of Defiance world.
Yeah.
If I was to think of one of these that I would that the developers would have set in the game as set pieces, this is the one that would stand out the most to me. I do like this one also has a higher ceiling height or general. It's easier to fly and move around in the camera. This is really hard.
Yeah, it sounds like Vika Mountaineer will be our winner for episode 1 of Temple Trackers. Thank you so much for everyone else that submitted. You want to give a big thank you, Nathan?
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing and putting the time in. These are really impressive. It's kind of pretty much blown away by all of these. Makes our job really hard to pick a top uh, build this time.
Yeah. Have to maybe be a little more specific on the criteria for the so to help illuminate. I'll let you go, Nathan. Thank you so much for joining me on our first episode. I'll try to get a different developer each time, but I reckon you'll probably be back.
That's fine. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you again, Vika Mountaineer, for your impressive build, and congratulations for winning the first episode of Temple Trackers. And thank you as well to the rest of our really impressive builders and your submissions. We love reviewing them, and as we said, it was very difficult to pick a favorite. For each episode of Temple Trackers, we will be hoping to give our submission winner a community-based reward. So for this episode, you will be added to an honorary role in our Discord called Hall of Hestia, where you can forever stand above the members known for your impressive builds. And we will be giving this builder the opportunity to write a community message that will be shown in-game on one of our ad panels. And going forward, you might expect these rewards to change as I figure out what's the best fit for this series. If you want to participate in the next episode of Temple Trackers, keep an eye out for our weekly build challenges in the Steam Community Hub and in our Discord. We're happy to take all of your submissions. You don't need to be a super cool builder. You don't need to submit a video. You can submit images. If it fits the theme, we would love to see it, and we might be able to consider you for the episode of Temple Trackers, so definitely check it out. Thanks again to all of our builders, and we hope to see you in the next episode.